everyone, third time lucky I hope, because I tried to film this video a couple of times now. Anyway, okay, so I have a new product release for you and I'm so excited because these have taken so long to create. Sorry if there's any noise outside, it's a lovely summery day today in terms of weather and temperature and sun and all of that, and I've got the window open because it's quite hot in my studio. Okay, so ephemera sets, which I have been working for a long time on, and they are finally here. This has been a true labor of love, the whole process and how it all started. I'm not going to go into that because it's quite an emotional journey, but they are here, and so I'm incredibly excited. So I have brought out two sets, and these are the ephemera that are out, which I will show you, but I wanted to show you them in the packaging first. So we have the set Faces and Flowers. These are my illustrations, and you know that my favorite things to illustrate are faces and flowers, so I keep concentrating on those two subjects throughout my brand. These are from the spring collection one, because I actually started working in the beginning of spring to create these. It's taken really long, so I want to get them out now, release them, and so that you can still purchase them in spring because they are spring collection. But they can be used sort of in during any time of the year. It's just the colors that I was inspired by and the color scheme and the style during this spring is this particular collection that you can see here. So in the Flowers set we have 45 ephemera pieces. In the Faces set we have 31 ephemera pieces, but don't you worry, it's exactly the same volume of product in both, because the way they are designed are actually they fit an A3 size of a sheet, and so they are you know, the same volume of the product. They just are less for the faces because the face illustrations are actually larger than the floral ones. If you can see in the florals, you have loads of small items here, individual little flowers as well, which are great filler flowers, but these are finished illustrations. So here you could potentially build some clusters with them if you wanted to, or use in whatever way you wanted. Here these are finished. So the other thing to say is, apart from the certain color scheme throughout that you can see in these illustrations, I have also added two. So in the florals, or the the Flowers set, I have two of the flower illustrations which are black and white, and in the Faces I also have two which are black and white. So this I designed in mind for you to be able to express yourself a little bit and decorate these ephemera pieces yourself if you wanted to. Otherwise you could keep them on trend, black and white, and just, you know, go with it like that. So what you can use ephemera for, if you're completely new to ephemera, you've never heard of it perhaps, or never tried it out. So ephemera are great to create different projects. You can work in different ways. You can create collages with them. You can create art journal page layouts. They can be great to decorate anything like a planner. You can, you know, do so many different things with them because they're already finished illustrations. All you need to do is just add them to either a piece of art that you're already creating. Imagine you're doing like a background perhaps with acrylics, watercolor, any media that you fancy, and then you could add some of these illustrations on top. And you know, if you wanted, you could go over it with glossy accents, you could go over it with collage medium, anything like that. So yeah, you can play around, and they're just, you know, they're just part of me as well, because they are my illustrations. Now the other thing to say is, some of them are hand drawn and some of them are created using florals and the clear stem sets. So these are the clear stamps that you can get to create your own faces of the days or clusters, floral clusters. And also, anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, that's how I've done it. So let's now look inside, or rather on the other side of them, just to give you a better idea of the style and number of them. So I tried to be as generous as I could and getting as many images and illustrations in there. Some of them you would have seen already on tutorials, so you might be quite excited to be able to purchase you know, an ephemera piece that you have seen being created, or you can actually go on my channel, find the playlist, and then look for the some of the tutorials, how they have been created. Okay, so that's that. I think I have mentioned everything I wanted. Now let's look at the florals set first. So as I was about to say, I have also used, for the floral set, I have also used the Wildflowers stamp sets. So these are just individual finished clear stamp sets, and they're smaller and they're just one piece, so you just stamp them and they're done. Whereas the florals stamp set is a different style of a stamp set. It's a build your own, so that means you can create, you have that flexibility to create your own little clusters if you wish to do that. So the individual flowers that you could use as they are, for example this one you could use as it is, but at the same time they're fantastic for building your own little floral illustrations. So the Wildflowers I have also done here, and there is another one somewhere here. Here we go. Look at the detail, how they're beautifully they're cut out with such a delicate way, and so I really wanted to make sure they look as delicate as possible, so you can just add them to your art journals. Okay, so here they are. I've got a few pansies in different styles here, and then I have the lavender, I have the Buttercup, which is this. They're resized, so they're slightly smaller than the original, so don't worry, you're not going to get exactly the same thing. And then what else? There was a Buttercup somewhere here. Oh, here we are. Here we are. So here's the Buttercup. So as you can see, the beautiful little finished illustrations that you can decorate everything. Okay, so these are these, and then the rest are basically from the florals stamp set that I just showed you. And there's a mix of things. Some of them are done using just the clear stamps, and some of them are created by adding some hand-drawn leaves. So for example, this one is a combination of both, and this is a jasmine flower. If you love jasmine, hydrangea, roses, this would be your set, because this is predominantly what the flowers are. There are a few whimsical flowers as well. So here is just to give you an idea of the sizing and the style of it. So there are some individual flowers here which are designed to be like confetti. Every single flower is an individual drawing, so none of them are repeated. So if you see there, for example, a few of the similar flowers, each of the flower has been hand-drawn before it was scanned, so none of these are repeated at all. These I have repeated in the style just so that you could, well, as you can see, basically they're different, but they're sort of within little styles, and so this one, Rose, has this style here and that, and then we have these green ones, so that you can kind of use them like that. Okay, the other thing to say is I've got the largest items are these two, so I wanted to create something a little bit more substantial in the sizing. for the florals. Now you can, if you think this is a bit too long for you, you could snip them off and use them in parts. You could, you know, snip them off in 3 parts, in fact, and use them separately. Or you can use it as it is. So let's see how long this one is. So this one is about 14 centimeters length, and then about 8 centimeters across. And the hydrangea is about 9 centimeters across and about 9 this way as well. Okay, the other thing to say is that for instance, you can see the resizing here. So this is the same stamp, but here it's a little bit bigger, here is a bit smaller. All of them have been sized down in most cases, and here are the black and white illustrations that you could decorate yourself, or like I said, leave it on trend, black and white, or do some black and white doodling to them. The final thing is I wanted to mention here is this, which is quite different to all the other illustrations. So you can see it's got a bit of a teal to it. I wanted to add something in teal because there will be a couple of teal items in the faces set as well. So this was designed or created with a acrylic background, and then I just did some inking on top. So just a different style, but I love this color. It's the color of my branding, and it's like my favorite color. So I wanted to include something in this color. So that's why it might look slightly different to the rest of the style, but it kind of works well with the pink especially. Okay, so let's move these over here and look at the faces. So in the faces, I'll group them so that I can explain a little bit better. Now in the faces, we have sized them really differently. So you can see that this, in fact, the original size was this. So they have been shrunk quite a lot so that I could get as many illustrations as possible. Also, I find them super adorable in this size. They're just really neat. And it kind of makes me think whether I should shrink the clear stamp set and have like a smaller size of it, but I don't know. This is just thoughts out loud. Okay, so let's group them. Now, in terms of hand drawn, I'll show you how many illustrations there are which have been completely just, done without the stamp sets. These are my favorites that I have picked from my face illustrations from my art journals. And they look really, really beautiful to me, so I'm quite happy with the quality. Okay, so these are the hand-drawn. Then we have the stamped images, which you might have seen as tutorials, or you might have, you should have, most of them have tutorials. So if you haven't seen them, have a look in the playlist. They should be there. So you can see there are very different styles. Some of them have the flower set incorporated. So for instance, no, this one was hand-drawn, but here, the flower set. This one, if you're interested, this is actually stencil. So I've got stencils in my shop as well. I'll just show you quickly. I've got 4 different stencils that are iris, tulip, chrysanthemum and water lily, so they're flower inspired, and I used that to finish the illustration. So, and again, this has been obviously sized down. Okay, so there's another hand drawn, and these. So these are the clear stamp finished illustrations, and then the 2 black and white, they're also clear stamp illustrations within the same style. So you can again leave them as they are or work with it. So then finally we have completely brand new illustrations which I have done for this ephemera set, so you wouldn't have seen them before in any way. So they're quite special. So what I have here is I have 3 ladies in their kind of medieval type of fashion, and they have a little bit of a different style to them, which I think they're super adorable. Then I have these bunny ears girls, so these are just the heads, the rest of them, and they basically have similar styles. So these two, and these two. And yeah, so I hope you found this super exciting and beautiful to look at and include in your art journals. I certainly am looking forward to playing with them because, like I said, they are resized, so they feel completely new to me, so that I actually can take them and make something out of them, like collages and all that sort of thing. So they are available. They will be available as soon as this video goes live. So that is it, and yeah, I hope you will enjoy these, and if you do use them in your art journals, please tag me on social media, Instagram, AlyonaCreates. I would love to see your projects and creations. See you soon. Thanks for watching.